This is Debbie from the Sterling Heights Public Library, and what I'm going to do today is I'm going to make a cheesecake. This is a sour cream topped cheesecake that has been really popular in my family for lots of years, and I bring it to family gatherings all the time. I'm going to be making it in a springform pan. So this gives you lots of servings. The recipe is designed to be made in a pan like this. If you don't have a pan like this, you can do it in a regular pie plate. You just get you won't be using all of the filling and everything, and you won't get as many servings out of it. But this is a springform pan. You can get springform pans in non-stick varieties as well. This is just a plain metal one. But the springform pans have this clasp on the outside where when you open it up, the bottom comes out of the pan. And that makes it easier to serve, and there's probably other uses too. So, another thing is these bottoms, all of them that I've ever seen, one side of it is flush, is flat. The other side has this lip sticking up. And I've always found it's easier, because I serve right off of these. I set them on a platter, but the cake bottoms, the pan bottom stays under there all the time. So if it's flat on the bottom, you won't be running into a problem where you're using your knife cutting and running into this lip. So when you construct your pan, put it in so the flat side is facing up like that. So you have to kind of get it in there. There's a little trench to lay it in. And then you clasp it tight. Make sure it's in there good, because you don't want the bottom falling out of your pan. Alright, this looks good. So, first thing, we're going to do this as a graham cracker crust. So I'm going to make this graham cracker crust. You can see recipes that have other kinds of crushed cookie crumbs and actual dough as a crust too. But this recipe calls for graham crackers. So you can crush your own graham crackers if you want. I buy them already crushed in a box. So this is a cup of graham crackers. So I'm going to dump this in this bowl. Okay. Then the next thing is we need sugar. And these measurements, amounts will be listed in a separate document. And then there's melted butter, which is in here. I melted it ahead of time. It's 3 tablespoons of melted butter. So dump that in. I always mix mine up with a fork. Get the butter mixed in as good as you can, because that's what's going to hold the crust together. So it gets kind of crumbly. It looks like beach sand. So you dump that into your pan. Okay. Then, so you want to get it flattened out. This particular recipe only uses a crust on the very bottom of the pan. Some recipes have you running it up the side as well. This one is simple. You just do it on the bottom. So you take, how I do that, you can do it with your fingers too, but I like using the back of a larger spoon. And just spread it out evenly, because you want your crust to be even. You know, you don't want it to be really thick and lumpy on one side and then thin and see-through on the other side. So smash it down. And try to get it, you know, really compacted, because that'll make it better when you are serving it. The crust will stay together. And pretty smooth. Take a look about how it looks. Especially get the edge. I like making this outside edge really as smooth and even as you can. Okay, so once you get it set up like that, then it's going to go in the oven. So this is in a preheated oven at 325. I put this in for 10 minutes and it'll set up the crust. Then that comes out, then we put the filling in that we're going to make while it's in the oven. Okay, so this is going in the oven. While the crust is in the oven for its 10 minutes. So the filling has 3 blocks of cream cheese in it, you know, Philadelphia cream cheese. It comes in the box like this, so it's 3 of those. So dump that in here. Okay, then 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Some lemon peel, which I get in a jar like this. It's like dried lemon peel. Some lemon juice. Oops, this is, oh, sorry, wait. No, yeah, lemon juice. This is the lemon juice. And vanilla, which is in here. So all that goes together. And then that's going to be beaten with a beater until it's nice and incorporated and fluffy. Oh, another thing that's important is that all your ingredients, your eggs, your cheese, your sour cream, all those ingredients are room temperature before you do it, because the problem that a lot of people have with making cheesecakes is the top will crack when you bake it. And one of the things that's supposed to help that not happening is to have your ingredients to be room temperature. So all this stuff's been sitting out for a while, a safe while. So, okay, so now we're going to put this beaten up. So it looks pretty good. It's mixed like this. Then we're going to add eggs. There's 3 eggs that get put in one at a time. So I've got 3 eggs here, and you beat a little bit after each one, but not too much, because beating the eggs too much is another thing that will give you cracks in your crust, your top. Supposed to do those one at a time. Well, that's okay. We'll just do it. If you're doing it perfectly, you would do it one at a time. But we won't overbeat them then when you put them in. So beat it on low. Just enough to get them incorporated so there's not globs of yellow in there. Okay, that's pretty good. So it looks like that, just like a batter kind of. Okay, so that'll be ready to go onto the crust in the pan when that comes out of the oven. So it has a few more minutes of baking, so we're going to wait until that is ready. Okay, the crust came out of the oven, so it looks pretty much like it did when it went in, but it's changed. So there's your crust. The crust is kind of delicate, so the next step is to put the filling on top of here. But you don't want to hold it up here and let it go plop, 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 because that'll make a trench or dig a hole into the crust, because it's kind of delicate. So you have to, you know, kind of spread it, plop it around and from close to it, so it doesn't traumatize the crust too much. because you want your crust to be able to stay together when it's served, you know, that it doesn't all fall apart in a big mess. Okay, so it's all in there, and you just spread it around because you do need to smooth it a little bit. If you don't smooth it, it might actually cook and set in the shape, including the lumps and whatever that there might be. Okay, so this looks pretty good. So then it goes back into the oven for 1 hour. Some cheesecake recipes have you do it with what they call a water bath, or something else that prevents cracking sometimes with some ovens is if the temperature is uneven in the oven. And doing it in a water bath helps that evenness. And you can either get like a big pan and put, you know, 1 inch or so of water in, and you'd have to seal the bottom of your springform pan like with aluminum foil so the water doesn't leak into it. You can either set it right in there or put a big tray of water on another rack underneath there in the oven, so it makes the oven more humid, and that can help. I've never done that. I've never bothered with that. I've always had good luck with this particular recipe doing that, doing it this way. I made another one once, a Martha Stewart pumpkin cheesecake recipe that cracked really badly. It's just, I think, different ingredients or something, maybe different temperatures that it calls for. This particular recipe is from Kraft Foods. I got it off their website years ago. The actual recipe doesn't seem to be on there nowadays, but I will post a version of it that you'll be able to bring up when you're using this. So we're going to wait for this pie, the filling, to cook, and it should be done in 1 hour. It should be slightly jiggly in the middle. We'll have to shake it a little when it comes due to be done. And if it's still a little bit jiggly, that's good. And we take it out, and it sort of finishes cooking after it comes out. So after that comes out, it has to cool for a while. Then we make the sour cream topping, and that goes on top. And then it's really best if it sits overnight in the refrigerator. The texture of it and how well it holds together will be best if you do that. So we'll move on to that after the timer buzzes. Okay, I'm back. The cake finished in the oven, so it's just like a little bit jiggly still in the middle. So there's that. Now we're going to make the topping, and the topping is 1.5 cups of sour cream. All right, yeah. So you don't need a big bowl for this. Measurements aren't critical, but they're perfect. Okay. And then this is 3 tablespoons of sugar. And then some vanilla. It's a teaspoon of vanilla. So we need to stir it up. You know, it mixes real easily. This to me is the best part of this whole recipe. So it's just sweetened sour cream. So then you're going to put it on top of the cheesecake. And again, you know, it can be soft still in the middle, so you don't want to plop it from far that it digs a hole into the thing. So I'm going to spread it around, and it's going to go back in the oven again for a few minutes to set it after you get this topping on. So I just, with the back of a spoon or a spatula or something, spread it to the edge. And kind of smooth it on the top. All right. Then it goes back in the oven for 10 minutes. So it's in the oven for 10 minutes, and then after it comes out, then you cool it. You know, you can let it sit on the counter for a while to cool, or you know, eventually it goes into the fridge. At least 4 hours. I'm going to put this in overnight because that's how it comes out the best. And then I will come back here to my daughter's beautiful kitchen and take the pan off and show you how that works. The pans I would recommend cleaning them like right after you take it off of the cake, because it tends to really collect in the nooks and crannies, and if you leave it sit and dry, it's really difficult to clean. So it'll be in there for a few minutes, and then I'll take it out. We'll put it in the fridge. It'll be, I'm going to lay a piece of paper towel over the top of the pan to kind of absorb the condensation that comes up out of it, and then I'm going to put plastic wrap over it while it's still in the pan and put it, or I might put it on a plate, but you don't have to. And then it's going to go in the fridge until tomorrow. Cheesecake is out of the fridge. It was in the fridge overnight, so it's nice and set up, and so it's still in the pan like that. So this is the dish we're going to put it on today, because it has to be flat. You can't have something with a rim because the pan itself is flat. So set it on there, and then you take a really thin flat knife with a smooth edge, no serrations on it, and you run along the outside like that to loosen the side, and go all the way down to the bottom, which is kind of firm. So it would have been better to do this on the counter. Okay. So then you take your opener, and it loosens the thing, pulls away, and then it drops down. So there you go. Kind of push it over and do it however you want. So like I recommended, wash these right away, because that stuff, that goop settles in there really quick and gets hard to clean. So then you have your cake, and then when you want to cut it, it's good like to make one slice and take a paper towel or something and wipe off the stuff before you do another slice. It keeps it neater and everything. So I'm gonna do that. that's it. Enjoy.